After 8 seasons in Yokohama, including a winter playing in Australia, the pitching philosopher Shota Imanaga would come to the north side of the Windy City and sign a 5-year deal with the Chicago Cubs. Held back by a concerning tendency to give up home runs, Imanaga wasn't touted to be an MLB ace or even a front-of-the-rotation starter, as expectations were for him to be at best a solid mid-rotation piece. However, armed with a special fastball and impeccable command, Shota quickly showed that he had other plans. Rather than experiencing any struggle adapting to the home run heavy bright lights of Major League Baseball, Shota went and put up one of the best starts to a pitcher's MLB career ever. Through 9 starts, he led baseball with a 0.84 ERA, the lowest in an MLB pitcher's first 9 starts since the American League was formed and Major League Baseball came together. A key reason for this early success was Shota's fastball working like absolute magic. Thrown from a low arm slot and a low release point and with extreme backspin, the pitch appears to defy gravity and rise as it crosses the plate in the eyes of the hitter. It doesn't actually rise, but the aforementioned factors cause the ball to not drop as much as the human eye would expect, getting some of the league's best to swing a miss or pop up the pitch despite its low velocity. Working off that fastball was another pitch with a very unique look to the hitter, his splitter. Now splitters don't seem super rare, but they are non-existent coming from left-handed pitchers. Not only was Shota throwing a rare pitch, he was throwing an elite one. According to the run value metric, Shota's splitter has been the 3rd best in Major League Baseball among all starting pitchers who throw it. Add in a solid sweeper and Shota's signature great command, and it's easy to see how he had such a tremendous start to his career. On the mound and off, Imanaga was capturing the attention of the baseball world. Fans in the US were charmed by his weekly funny quote and expressive antics on the mound, and also couldn't believe how good he was for a guy with so little hype and a relatively tiny contract. Fans in Japan couldn't believe how good he was for a guy who was very effective but not anywhere this dominant as a Yokohama-based star. This all couldn't last forever though. Teams were bound to adjust and hungry to end his incredible run, and the Brewers were fully prepared to do so, tagging Shota for 7 runs in the first 3 innings through a barrage of extra base hits. That was on May 29th, and so rapidly approaching was summer, a time when balls fly out of the park more than ever, which could have spelled major issues for Imanaga, who was bound to be at least a bit more mistake prone than he'd been through the season's first 2 months. After surviving his first 3 June starts, the Mets would give Shota even more hell than the Brewers had. Now, the man was still 7-2 with a 2.96 ERA, it was far from the end of the world, but with a 7.46 ERA since May 29th, which doesn't include 4 unearned but not totally undeserved runs against the White Sox, one could argue this was a make-or-break point in the season for Shota. The league had adjusted. How did Shota respond? Well, how about settling in with a 3.34 ERA through his 11 final summer starts? Now, Shota gave up a lot of home runs, over 1 per game, but he walked so few hitters and had such good defense behind him that most came in the form of solo shots, and thus the damage was heavily limited. Through the rest of June, as well as all of July and August, the most earned runs Shota gave up in one start was still a respectable 4 runs in a 6.2 winning effort against St. Louis, in which a line drive by Mason Wynn just snuck into the Wrigley Field basket. Being a very fly ball oriented pitcher, summer could have very well derailed Shota's season. Instead, from June through August, despite giving up 18 homers, the 4th most in baseball, Imanaga put up a 3.97 ERA, giving him a 3.14 ERA on the season, still the 9th best total in Major League Baseball, going into a September 4th start against the Pirates, in which Shota fired 7 no-hit innings, massively contributing to the Cubs' first no-hitter in Chicago since 1972. Following up his incredible outing at Wrigley Field, Shota finished off a stellar September with 3 more quality starts. Part of what's enabled this mid to late season success, along with some batted ball luck and Imanaga's usual great skill set, was the gradual implementation of a couple more offerings to aid his original 3-pitch mix. Late in the year, you could find Imanaga mixing in a not insignificant amount of sinkers and changeups, and once or twice he'd even bust out a slow curveball that went as slow as 54 miles per hour. All in all, it's been an incredible first MLB season for the philosopher. Wins and losses may be heavily flawed stats for pitchers, but you'll be hard pressed to find a starter who went 15-3 like Imanaga did and didn't put up any great numbers. The Cubs went 23-6 in games started by their newfound ace, and it's easy to see why. Imanaga ended the season with a 2.91 ERA and 174 Ks to just 28 walks in 173.1 innings pitched. The man is 3rd in the National League among qualified starters in ERA, 3rd in WHIP, 9th in Ks, 2nd in walks per 9, and number 1 in strikeout to walk ratio. Some of Imanaga's stats, like fielding independent pitching and expected ERA, don't quite measure up to his surface level results, primarily because all of the home runs, but his good strikeout rate and lack of walks keep them at still very good measures. His 3.72 fielding independent pitching is still top 30 in baseball, and up there with the likes of Corbin Burns and Luis Castillo. His expected ERA is 3.47, which is 22nd in baseball, and above great performers such as Christopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez. Even if Shota fully regresses down to his expected numbers next year, the numbers are not only still very good, but also still amazing value for the money he's being paid. With how amazing Imanaga has been, it's very easy to forget that he's only getting about $9.25 million from the Cubs this year and is locked up on mutual and club options for the next 4 seasons. Now, Imanaga has measured up very well with the best starters in baseball, and he's going to get down ballot Cy Young votes. You'd think that because of that he'd also run away with Rookie of the Year, and in any normal year he would, but this of course has been no normal year. Paul Skeens finished with a sub-2 ERA, and Jackson Merrill might have been the most valuable player on a 90+ win Padres team, so those two are definitely going to edge out Shota, and we'll see about guys like Jackson Chourio or Mason Wynn. So while Shota is going to walk away from 2024 without any playoff baseball or awards besides his NL All-Star honor, his season was an incredible year worth highlighting, and it's pretty inspirational to see how far he's come in his baseball career. Back in 2018, Shota put up a 6.80 ERA with the Bay Stars and was sent to pitch in Australia that winter to get things together. In short, he then put up the greatest Australian League pitching season of all time, and now 6 years later, he's pitching like an ace in Major League Baseball. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think that's all I got. Please like if you did, and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.